Travis Wayne Goodsell. So we're back to church news videos in the late afternoon. We're early because it's Monday. They still go home for family home evening, even though Nelson changed the day to Sunday. Mormons are so wicked and disobedient. And so as Bednar was finishing up his ministry, that was pretty much it. And then temple updates in Peru, or the Philippines, not Peru. Or Marcos, Bam Bam. If you remember that church news video. Yeah, no duh. Temple in the Philippines. And so, one of the quotes from there is that he says that the church has a strong positive reputation in the South American countries. Well, if you were the true church, you would be hated. And so, in the previous video this morning, way near the end, I talked about this. Mormons don't acknowledge any other religion's ministers. Mormons believe that those other ministers do not have authority. Especially those exfo never mowed apostate cohort branch-offs who didn't stick to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No authority. Only the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has authority, they believe. And so missionaries go out and have to explain to investigators why they need to leave their religion and join the church and pay the church money and get rebaptized, because your church has no authority. Your preacher, as good of a man as he thinks he is, has no authority. We all know this. Nobody should be getting angry at me for this. I went on a mission. I grew up in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints too. I know all this stuff. And here I am, the warning voice to Mormons. And so, in the video, I pose the hypothetical. The Mormon Jesus returns for the second coming. It stands before Mormons. And would there be Mormons who would try to murder him, who don't believe in him? They see him with his own eyes. They're able to feel the wounds in his hands and in his feet and in his side. They're able to fondle and grope him. Are Mormons going to be a doubting Thomas? And they're going to try to murder him to prove it's not him. Most likely, maybe not. It would most likely be those of other religions. Well, that can't be true. That's not our Christ. And I'll prove it. Right? And so Mormons won't be scared because their Christ is immortal. He's resurrected, not ascended yet. Under Nelson, he's only resurrected, but immortal. And so he can't be hurt anymore. So Mormons aren't going to be concerned about other people trying to murder him. Nothing will harm him now. He's supernatural. But what if it's Trinity Christian Christ? What are you going to do now, Mormons? Well, first of all, it's going to be confusing. How is he going to be real when he's not real? But we'll assume that the creed is correct, that he was made man only for his stay on earth, even though he's not real, a musion. Comes back, second coming is the Christian Jesus. Sorry, Mormons, you're wrong. What are you going to do? You going to join Christianity now? You going to try to murder that Jesus? To prove that Christianity is false, and therefore, by default, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has to be true, even though your Jesus didn't show. What are you going to do? Islam, what are they going to do? Oh crap, our Jesus is supposed to be a Muslim infiltrator, spy. Where is he? This heathen Christ? Of course, Trinity God, also more powerful than the Mormon Jesus, even though he was murdered by the Jews. Those violent, mean old Jews living on the land of peace. So violent in their land called peace, who were victims of violence themselves on 9th Ave on both occasions. So what if the Jews are right? Oh crap, it is their scriptures after all. Book of Mormon is in the learning of the Jews too, as it so says after all. Joseph Smith himself says the Book of Mormon and thus our religion is supposed to be Jewish after all. What if the Jewish Christ shows? Well, we already know Christians. Jews will not replace us, and they'll try to murder them. Islam, yeah, try to murder them. What about you, Mormons? You've been proven false as Christian. The Jewish Christ showed. He's saying that Joseph Smith was a Jew, and the Book of Mormon is Jewish, and the Bible is Jewish. Do you not know those scriptures? And if I don't cover it, people complain that I need to prove it because I didn't cover it. They don't bother to see that I have over 4,000 videos. And then maybe I might have covered it. And then you can see that they're hours long. That maybe I might have covered it. Having repeated it over and over and over and over and over. Nevertheless, section 3, verse 16, so we're talking about the Book of Mormon, my work, marvelous work and a wonder is about to come forth among the children of men, even though Joseph Smith was on timeout for losing 116 pages. Been on timeout for almost a year now, and a marvelous work and a wonder is about to come forth among the children of men. Strange. Shouldn't he have been working on it all that year? If you're going to call it literal history, you're going to be confused. So, verse 16, 116 pages are gone. My work shall go forth, inasmuch as a knowledge of a Savior has come unto the world through the testimony of the Jews. See? Bible. Jewish religion. Jewish Christ. Even so, the knowledge of a Savior come unto Mormons. Jewish Christ, Jewish religion. So what are you going to do, Mormons, when the Jewish Christ comes? You going to murder him? Going to lock him up? Prove that he's not true? Your Jesus is true. Book of Mormon is Christian. Another testament of Jesus Christ. All right? Second Nephi 29. O fools, they shall have a Bible, and it shall proceed forth from the mouth of a Jew. My ancient covenant people. Bible is Jewish. Jewish religion, Jewish Christ, not Christian religion, not Christian Christ. Ta-da. Do you believe the Book of Mormon? Do you believe Joseph Smith? Or are you purposely lying, waiting for the Jewish Christ to come so that you can murder him? What if I were to tell you that your ancestors murdered the Jewish Christ of Mormonism? And so even if you think you're going to dare say that you would never have murdered Joseph Smith if you had lived in that day, liar. Because the Jewish Christ is here, Mormons. Surprise. Because of your false beliefs, you then impose those false beliefs on the other God, and thus you don't believe that the other God is real. Because it's not yours, and thus why you become evil and try to hurt and murder them. Messiah ben Joseph, the Jewish Christ. Hello? You even going to even bother to know what the learning of the Jews is regarding their religion and their Christ? 2 Nephi, chapter 3, verse 5. There they are. Messiah ben Joseph, Messiah ben David Moses. Just because they didn't footnote it correctly doesn't mean that that's not who it is. Because remember, this church claims to be Christian, claims the Book of Mormon to be another testament of Jesus Christ, which means, yeah, Bednar has no integrity. Remember that Church News video from last week? He was in Peru. He just finished. And so, yeah, the dominant religion south of the border in South America is Christian. Church claims to be Christian. And so, yeah, no duh, the church has a strong positive reputation in South America because of that. By lying to the people that the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith were Christian, they now are in favor with other Christians. Until we start telling them that their religion is false, it has no authority, and they got to get rebaptized, then problems ensue. But as long as they stick to, we all believe in Jesus, even though it's the name, and we all believe in a different nature and character of him, because you believe your Jesus allows you to do this and that, where my Jesus says you're a heathen and you need to repent. Right? Kay? Dear God, evil woman. But that's what happens when you get stuck in your religion. When your religion teaches you to take away the agency of other people just because they're not of your religious beliefs, to hurt them, to persecute them, to steal from them, to lock them up and force them to do your will, of your Jesus, I mean, yeah, you've got a false Christ, and he's masquerading as Lucifer. You all know that doctrine. And yet, Ryan Zombro, missionary for the Mormons, ministering to me on my channel. See, again, he does not believe, and so instead of allowing me to worship how, where, and what I may on my own channel on YouTube, to just say, I don't believe this guy, I'm not going to watch. You know, there are Mormon channels, I don't believe them, I don't watch. I don't go to their channel and do what Ryan did to me, as I found out this morning, overnight. Nope, I leave Mormons alone. I'll refer to them if the topic of my video has to do with it. If I'm talking about the plagiarism in the Book of Mormon and explaining it to Exfo Nevermos, who also have been lied to by the church and don't understand that there's a reason why certain plagiarized passages are in certain parts of the Book of Mormon. I have to then talk about Kwaku, who said that plagiarism is proof of the truth of the Book of Mormon. Otherwise, I don't seek out Kwaku to find his channel on YouTube and then get him. But I see the news on both sides who pull that stunt in their videos, in the comments, and in the picture memes on the thumbnails. Kamala's speech owns Trump, destroys him. Trump's rally speech destroys the Dems. This is a game ender for Kamala's campaign. And yet it's not. It never is on either side. They're both wrong. Trump is not destroyed. Kamala has not ended her campaign. They keep on going. People use those because they know that people like to watch those kinds of comments. And so, yeah, to some degree, I do that too. But I keep it as symbolism, religious symbolism. You're supposed to catch on to what I'm saying with it. Shall we go over some of them? Let's see, it'll be under videos. Some of the most recents. Apostate family of Joseph Smith. And the pictures showed Lucy Mack, Emma Smith, and William Smith. They are apostates, according to Brigham Young's church. Not them. Obviously, they don't see themselves as apostates. They see Brigham Young and his followers as apostates. So do you see how I worded that? On purpose. To teach, not to be mean. The curse of Joseph Smith. Are you familiar with Mormons who talk about this, who lie and say that those who tried to murder Joseph Smith were met with a curse, died by mysterious reasons? No, they didn't. Mormons lie. Just like John Taylor lied. It wasn't actually John Taylor, as I did the video yesterday, or was it Sunday? But regardless of when I did it, yeah. Wilford Woodruff, during his presidency, retrograded his dating in his journal to say John Taylor said. And so, yeah, there is a curse of Joseph Smith, sort of. It's not Joseph Smith. It's somebody, something else, because there's a pattern going on with every single president of Brigham Young's church. Thus, why I do the final countdown, baptism by fire, for 9/11 in the coming days. And those of you who've been watching me for a while with the lead-in to 9th Ave this year, had a whole countdown going, like I'm doing a countdown now for 9/11. 9th Ave was the original 9/11. It's Jewish. Remember, I told you to watch the stock market. So today, we are 1 week away. Next Wednesday is 9/11. What happened today? After the long weekend, where businesses, specifically travel and tourism businesses, skyrocketed in numbers, record-breaking numbers. And yet the stocks tanked over 600 points on the Dow. Pay attention all this week and Monday and Tuesday next week. Pay attention, because here we go again. The baptism of fire. I'm trying to save your lives, but not compromising my integrity. So I'm not going to read any of this. He then wrote another comment after his long paragraph insulting me and degrading me and using ad hominems and abusing me, saying, by the way, don't delete my comments. Bye-bye. Bleep you. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We're done. What else can we talk about to make this last for 3 more hours? So yeah, I'm watching to know if I'm going to be cyber terrorized. But yeah, seriously, what would you do, Mormons? And then if the other Christ comes, regardless of the religion, even though it's supposed to be the Jewish Christ, and I told you he came, and if you're going, well, who is he? I bet you think it's you, don't you? I've been teaching you how to learn how to learn. What is his name supposed to be? That's the one big test on your checklist. Remember? By their fruits ye shall know a false prophet. So if their words do not produce the results, they're false. What is the prophesied name of the Jewish Christ? Emmanuel, their God. And so you may not know that Emmanuel is the sun god at noonday of the Egyptians. Amun is a phonetic transliteration from the Egyptian, dominant during the 18th dynasty, where the Amun priesthood was. But nonetheless, you should know, because Isaiah is huge. Even Christians say the name, even though they then say Jesus, because Matthew did that. The Jewish author. But nonetheless. And so, yes. Is my name supposed to be Jesus? No! So obviously I'm not Jesus. Duh! Have you run the test? And so you may think, oh, your name's not Emmanuel either. What's the meaning? Hello? Sun God at noonday. So sun God. And if you know about baby name meanings and surname meanings, you can figure it out. Because it originated as God's soul. The English Druids, and they never revealed their name. It was a hidden name. Not until after the 1500s did they come forward and say we are the God souls. And so, Revelation 19 tells you that very thing, in case you don't know the Egyptian story. And so, there's somebody on the back of the white horse in verse 11. So verse 12, who's on the back of the white horse? Well, his eyes were a flame of fire. That's a pretty good indicator that it's the Son. Many crowns on his head. He had a name written that no man knew but he himself. There you go. Amen. Because those are the stories that are told about him. He has the hidden name. And then there's the story of Hathor, who finds out his hidden name, and then she goes on a drunken murder spree of mankind. Power is given in the name, but it's not magical power. It's not abracadabra. So yeah, then all the other tests. Remember, prophecy and revelation, not literal history. Those are all prophecies that you should have on your checklist. There are dates, which are referred to as revelation. Day and hours. Sorry, Christians, you shouldn't have tampered with the original document and added in no man knows the day or the hour, because it's right there. Jesus on a cross? Nope. That's the day and the hour. Romans didn't use crosses. And so on 8 April 2024, the sun god casts his shadow on the earth, and it crossed over the first two over America. Crossroads, two of them, of the sun god. And so he who is from the crossroads, is that my first name? Yep, Travis, he who is from the crossroads. Knew that ever since we moved to Michigan, or moved from Michigan to California. And at one of the truck stops, one of the gas stations along the way, I saw a little stand twirly thing that had a whole bunch of license plates and that had names and the meaning of the name. And I thought that was cool, and I looked for mine. I don't know if I found mine. My mom would then go on, when we get to Placentia, to find something to buy, or I don't know what it was, that had each of the meanings of her names. And so mine is one of unity, and thus crossroads. It's where the joining of people from different places come to meet. And so X marks the spot for the location of Zion, just as Joseph Smith said in 19 July 1840. And so yeah, all of the stories, their prophecies, put me to the test. Guess what? It's not Nelson, is it? It's not even Jesus, if you're going to turn them into literal history. Wrong name. But they knew I had multiple names, not just the one. The language of Paleo-Hebrew script is a prophecy and revelation of me. And so when the Book of Mormon, plagiarizing Acts 3:22-23, says that all the prophets, in verse 24 of Acts, prophesy of me, sure enough, put me to the test. You won't, will you? Because your Jesus has to be true, so I'm automatically false. And you won't test. Because your church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has led you astray and deceived you. And so, as a result, when I talk about Joseph Smith and the Jewish religion, Mormons get upset. Just like Kay, just like, what was it, Roy, or whatever his name was. You can't handle the truth, can you?